guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my February wrap-up part 1. I'm filming it with the figures that go up to February the 14th because that was exactly halfway through the month, and as of that date I'd finished 14 books. On the day that I'm filming it's the Tuesday, so a few days before this video comes up, and I've just finished one, but that'll go up on my next wrap-up. I'm hoping if I can go stick to another video a day, I can get another 14 books read. And there's every chance I will, because at the moment I'm currently reading quite a few books. Shall I tell you which ones I'm currently reading and show you them? Okay, so the first one is one I read at bedtime, and that's Frostheart Escape to Aurora. I am about 150 pages through. My sister Charlie lent me this book. I don't think it's quite as good as the first Frostheart book. Slower paced, but in the same way I'm really enjoying it, and my sister's copy is beautiful. Look at this coloured sprayed edges, they are beautiful, and I am loving it. It's one I'm reading at bedtime, but tonight, because I'm trying to get my books under control and get through the books that I'm reading, I'll be taking it downstairs and maybe starting it a little bit earlier and reading a little bit more tonight. Then I started this week, which is Olive Ketteridge, which I'm bloody reading with Leo from Elizabeth Book Life. We read 50 pages on Monday and read another 50 today and keep going it that way. According to that, it should be finished by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and a little bit on Saturday. So it'll be finished by the weekend. This is quite good. I'm not sure. Leo's loving it on the first few pages. I don't know. I honestly don't know. This is a bit of a mixed bag. It could go very well or very badly. Olive, the lead lady in this, is driving me around the bend even on the first few pages, but I love her husband Henry, so let's see how this goes. By the time this video goes up I should know. I might even have finished it, so let's see how I do, shall I? Then a book that I'm aiming to finish tonight, because I've got a 250 page book. I'm on 200 to 250 pages. I've got up to 419, so I've got another 170 pages. I'm going to try and finish that either today or tomorrow. I'm going to aim to try and finish it today, to be honest, because it's a thriller, very easy to read, and I will be flying through this. That's my goal, is tonight to finish that. You guys would have seen on my Goodreads what I've rated it. I wonder. At the moment I'm thinking 3 or 4 stars. 4 stars. It's not a scary thriller, but it's quite an intense, like, psychological, because you're really thinking about who the baddie is in this, and there's just some interesting facts. I can't wait to talk about it more, but it's actually really good. I do love Lisa Jewell, and it's definitely better than another thriller I've read this month, so definitely think Lisa Jewell's got very good potential with her thrillers. And that was my TBR jar pick, so I think my TBR jar might have actually done well this month. Then I'm on just finished my second day today on the read along with Once Upon a River. I'm reading that with a group of us on Goodreads, Instagram, whatever, BookTube, that Katie from Books and Things is reading. I only started this yesterday. 101% can say I'm loving it. I love the 13th tale. Wasn't 100% on Bellman and Black, but I can straight away tell you this is blooming good. I'm sticking with roughly the pages that Katie set out, but I have a funny feeling I may intensify it and speed it up because I'm really loving this book. You know, I treated myself to it out of my Christmas money, and it is one that I well and truly deserve, and I love it. Definitely one I'm keeping. Love it, love it, love it already. Then one that I'll be reading for quite a few months, and I'm budgie reading it with Tori from Hufflepuff Discovery. I'm reading about 10 pages a day roughly, and it's the Brontes. I am about 155 pages in, and I am loving it. First few pages are a bit sort of more on the Brontes' father, Patrick, and a little bit on their mother. I don't really think their mother's been explored very much. So Kate from Kate Howe has spoken of a book that talks about her, so I'm going to look for that after I've read this. But I am definitely loving it. The more I read, the more I'm getting into characters that I know, the more I'm reading more about the Bronte family, the members of the Bronte family that I know and love. And there's been some pages that's been really hard hitting when they talk about the 3 Bronte authors, their big sisters Charlotte and Maria. No, not Charlotte and Maria. Maria and Elizabeth. Those bits there killed me. and oh, there's certain bits that will really upset me when their mum dies. There's just so many things that are really emotional, but I'm loving, at the moment, the more I read about Charlotte, she's the one I'm really loving. Although I love Anne's books and Emily's books as well, so quite intriguing. I love this book. It's going to be a one that's going to take, we're going to be reading over quite a few months, but I love it. Goodbye, Thomas. Sorry. Anyway, so that's the books that I'm currently reading. Now I will talk about the books that I have read this month. I will go from least favourite to favourite, and I'll save the best ones till last. I will start off with a book that has completely gutted me, that I didn't like. Thomas, get up. You know it's still around. The Bedlam Stacks. It got 2 stars, and I am gutted. I absolutely love The Watchmaker of Filigree Street. Goodbye. Sorry about this, guys. I loved the Watchmaker of Filigree Street, and I've heard really great things about this book. The cover of it's absolutely gorgeous, and I really wanted to love it. I was reading it with Gemma from Read a Book Gem, and I loved it. And we were like expecting to really love it, but I hated it. I didn't understand it, and it was one that I really did not like, and I am totally gutted. I'm sorry, guys, I'm moving this around. The joys of being a parent. Thomas, would you like to please go away, or you will not be getting your pancakes? It's pancake day when I'm filming. There are bribery techniques. But anyway, enough rambling with children. Roll on when they're back at school. But I really had high hopes for this. It's set in Peru, which is where one of Thomas's favourite cartoon characters, Winnie the Pooh's from. And I had really high hopes for this, but I didn't like it. I don't like talking much about books that I don't like, as you well discovered from the anti-TBR tag. I'm no good at being mean, but I really did not like this, and it was boring. I didn't get with the context of it. It was just, I can't even describe it, just wasn't into it. It's not like I hated it. It wasn't like the 1 star of last month, but it just wasn't accepting. And I'm now, The Lost Future of Pepper Harrow, which is the next book, and it's the one that follows on from The Watchmaker of Filigree Street. I'm now probably going to get it on the library app rather than pay full price for it. Or if I see it in a charity shop, I'll get that when they reopen. But I'm not going to pay full price for it because I didn't like this, and I would not be prepared to pay full price for a book that I didn't like. My sister Charlie gave it, so I didn't actually pay for this. It's going to the charity shops. Goodbye. There you go. There's my charity shop pile. I just unhauled a big load of about 50 books this weekend. Felt amazing. Gave them away. That felt good. So getting ready for the next lot of bags for the charity shop. Anyway, now we go on to our 3 stars. This is The Chain, which I've already read with Chloe from Chloe Reads Books. And it started off being so thrilling, so exciting, intense. It was going to be a 4 star. It was going to be really good. And then the last half just went boom. And the last 150 pages, like I'm copying off Chloe's review, went downhill. Your phone rings. A stranger has kidnapped your child. To free them, you must abduct someone else's child. Your child will be released from your victim's parents when your victim's parents kidnap another child. If any of these things don't happen, your child will be killed. Victim, survivor, abductor, criminal, you will become each one. You are now part of the chain. The first half was so exciting. I was thrilled. I was like, oh, what would I do as a mum? As a mum, it really hit me. And then the second half happened, and most of the exciting bits were in the first half. In the second half, I predicted a lot of the twists and turns. And you guys know I'm not really that great at predicting thriller twists, but I did, and that kind of annoyed me. And the ending was really flat, and it was like, okay. 3 stars. It was still a good book. Still one I'm definitely glad I read, but the second half let it down. But so that's another charity shop. Bye. The next one is 3 stars. I'm rating it 3 stars, but it is a non-fiction book, so I don't really want to be, I don't think I should rate non-fiction books in all honesty, because it's not my place to. This is The Happier Hour, and it's about a lady at 39 years old. She's a health coach, no less, and she knows better than to down several bottles of wine per week. Her increasingly dysfunctional relationship with alcohol had to stop, but after decades of social drinking, she was terrified about what that will mean. This is interesting. She set herself a challenge. She was drinking quite a lot. And she decided to stop because she found that she couldn't just have one drink and she had kept drinking. So when she started drinking, it was like she couldn't stop. So I don't know if that's classed as alcoholic or what, but it was very borderline. I'm rating it 3 stars because I didn't personally relate to that. I've not had that issue. I do have a slightly addictive personality. So if anything, when I am down, I will avoid drink, smoke anything that I can't stop. Sweets and chocolate have been my baddie, my addiction, so I've got to kind of curb that, but that's me. So I know my addictive personality, so I know that I address that. So I couldn't relate to that, because once I start drinking, I automatically seem to know when to stop, because I just like, it's quite amusing. I was always the sober one. Like, I was always the one that could sober up like 2 seconds when I used to go out with my friends. Obviously I'm an oldie now, so I don't really do that, but that's just not to say the parties that are going to happen post lockdown, that's going to be fun. But so that sort of thing, I couldn't really relate to it brilliantly, but it's very interesting. It's an interesting take on it. If you want to read about how someone will turn their life around and how their personalities change and how addiction can be harder to beat. And I think the way she did it was really interesting and really quite helpful. So it's quite a good book, just not one I necessarily related to as much as I hoped. I thought I would get more out of it, and I thought it'd be more on mental health than it would be just based purely on the addiction side of it, which is what it was. So it's a good book, but someone else can find that one. The next one is another one that let me down. I was expecting big things. You guys know I love Jenny Colgan's book. I think I'd already read this when I was younger, because I used to love Jenny Colgan years ago. So this is probably read it about 2-3 years ago before I got my Goodreads, because it wasn't on my Goodreads, but I remember the storyline. To me, you can tell it's one of her earlier books, because there are certain comments in this, fatphobic comments again, that I didn't necessarily like. So it's the thin sister, the fat sister. The thin sister gets all the attention from the blokes. The fat sister gets neglected. The fat twin loses weight and gets her man when she loses weight. That kind of thing. And that, a bit stereotypical, a bit like, you know what's going to happen. Sisters going off into London, they're trying to portray the best image. It was all right. It just was not one of her best ones to me. I definitely think you can tell her more up-to-date books and on newer books, because to me the writing's better. It's not as run-of-the-mill, not as sort of stereotypical, and there's less fatphobia really comments on this, but there is a lot of fatphobia in this book, and I really struggle with that. I'm one of 3 sisters, and we've always compared the way we look to each other. We do either, and self-image is a big problem, and something I'm trying to promote with my kids and promote all in general is it's not your size that matters, it's your heart. If you've got a pure heart, you'll win the guy because of that. I can't remember what I looked like when I met Chris, but I do know that he loved me despite my weight, and when I got big he still loved me and he still told me I was attractive. That's the important image that we need to be portraying to our children and to others. It's not about how much you weigh, it's about your heart and what's in that heart of yours. So that kind of thing bothered me on that. But it was a good cosy read. If you ignore that side of it, it was a good cosy chick lit, very standard, very run-of-the-mill, but not a Jenny Colgan that I'm going to be keeping. Hope that sounds all right. Hope I worded that all right. Fingers crossed. Now another one that I was gutted about. I had such high hopes. Our Mutual Friend by Charles Dickens. Again, I don't know if this is just the fact that I'm reading it at the wrong time in my life right now. I've got too many buddy reads on, as a lot of people know that I do. I'm rushing around with the kids like a lot of people are. I'm trying to do too much, so I don't know how much of this I absorbed at the start to really get to know the people in this book, the characters in, and there's a lot of characters. So had I probably gone at it slower, had I been reading less, had my mind been able to focus on it, I might have rated it higher. So I am keeping this. I'm not going to judge it. For me, there was a lot of characters, a lot of it. I got lost quite a lot in this book, but it is one I'm going to keep to reread because I don't want to judge it. I would like to try again. So fingers crossed I get on better with that. I have heard from other people that Charles Dickens can be a bit hit and miss, and it's not my fault necessarily that I didn't like that one as much, but I'm keeping it. I'll try again in a couple of years. I think Gemma felt that we both kind of got lost at times. It was a lot harder to read than we expected. But now I go on to the better books, the 4-star books, and I'm already realised that we're already on 14 minutes and it's going to be a longer one. Great. Sorry, guys. So, you guys know another one where I did the boo-boo. I read the 3rd book before the 2nd book, so this is the 2nd in the Emily series. It was 4 stars. It's a lot more cosier than the 3rd, but not as cosy as the 1st. It's quite a good book, but it wasn't the best. It would spoil it to talk about it too much. I wish I would have read them in order, because it kind of connected the 2 books that I'd read in the wrong order, and I think that affected how I felt about it. But it is a lovely series. It's a cosy book. It's like Anne of Green Gables kind of thing, but with Emily as the lead character. And Emily goes off into high school in Shrewsbury in this, and she does get a bit feisty, and she she's there with Teddy and Perry, and there are conditions, and she lives with Aunt Ruth, and there's some good bits in this, and it's a very cosy read. It's still 4 stars. It just, to me, it wasn't as good as the first or the last. It's very much the second in the series, middle of the road book. But I'm keeping that one, so that's good. That's going to be my keepy. Then I read the next one in the Philippa Gregory series. 4 stars again. I thoroughly love this one. I think I'm going to keep it. I can't decide. I don't know whether to keep this this series or whether, because I'm already keeping the Tudor. I'm now refinding the 6 Tudor Queens books and keeping them. Do I keep the Philippa Gregory series as well, the Plantagenet series, or do I not? Or do I make room for more Tudor books? If you're out there, Julie, if you're watching, please tell me, do I carry on with Philippa Gregory and keep them all? Because I'm going to read them all this year. I've already said that, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Do I keep them, or do I make room on my shelves for other authors and not just Philippa Gregory? Because Philippa Gregory is more fiction than non-fiction side. And this book here is about Henry Tudor's wife, Elizabeth. And this is the daughter of the White Queen, the White Princess. And that link, you need to read the White Queen, even if you don't read the Red Queen. But it's definitely helpful to read the Red and White Queen in order, because the Red Queen is her mother-in-law, the White Queen is her mother. And you need to read those two at least. Don't necessarily need to read the Kingmaker's daughter, the Kingmaker's daughter, or that book. I can't remember the one, just one before this. But you do need to have read the White and Red Queen, because that is really what sets you up for this book. And this is how she kind of gets forced into a marriage with Henry Tudor. And she starts off and she's forced in to marry him. It's not a marriage of love, because as you'll read at the end of I can't really give many spoilers, because there's bits that, if you, like I said, you need to read the White Queen, because there's bits at the end of this that set it up. You hear her brothers were the lost princes, the ones that lost in the tower. They disappeared in the tower and they were never found. Everyone suspects that they were killed, but there's a lot of, like, I would love to know if they were killed or not. I really don't understand. I'm intrigued. I think they were, but it's some of the images in this where, like, Henry Tudor is paranoid that they are alive and he's doing anything to protect his throne. And it's quite interesting. It's also interesting to me because she was obviously the mother of King Henry VIII, and we all know what bugger he was. He was a horrible little brat bag. But it was nice to read about his big brother Arthur, who died when he was younger. It was nice to read about his sisters Margaret and Mary and their lives. They had a sister that died when she was a baby, and that bit killed me. There was bits in there that really killed me. And there was another sibling that died at the very end, and that was another bit heartbreaking. But it's their little sister. Oh, that was really killing. There was a beautiful little girl in it, died as a baby, and her mum knew that she was not going to be on the world for long. So this is a really good book. I thoroughly loved it. 4 stars all the way. I did love it. I'm tempted to keep it because it was really, really good. So I'm going to put that to one side I'm going to think about it side. But now, better get on with my 5 stars. Have also got to point out that I also did read an audiobook, listen to an audiobook, Heartbreaking Christmas Cakes. I can't remember the author's name, but I listened to it on audiobook on my BorrowBox app. It was wartime fiction, kind of like cozy book that was lovely, and I read that. It was 4 stars. Beautiful book, really lovely audiobook, just what I needed. But now I'm going to go into my 5-star books, and it's going to be very hard to say. I've got 2 favourites at the moment, but I could literally swing any of the ways for any of these books. The next sort of 6 books are amazing, and they all deserve to be a favourite of the month. So it would surprise me if the rest of the month I get books as good as this, because they're all amazing. First one was my middle grade book, which is The Animals of Arding Wood. Thoroughly loved this. Remember growing up with this, the animation of this as a child on TV. Loved it. Lovely book. Don't need to talk more about it, but if you like children's classics, if you like woods and animals, and it's cozy, it's 5 stars. Brilliant book. That's a definite keepy. That's a keepy. Then Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. I think I'm going to look for a better Buttercup. My sister gave me this book because it was her charity shop. She had a better cover of it, a better sort of edition of it. I would have liked to get a better edition. It was thoroughly amazing. Really loved it. Really exciting. Very much like Rebecca in the fact that it's a dark gothic classic. It is so many people on BookTube's favourite Daphne du Maurier book, and I would definitely say I prefer this to Rebecca. It's 5 stars. Rebecca was 4. If you like dark gothic books, say if you like Wuthering Heights like I do, you will love this. It's dark, it's leading lady Mary. Oh my god, she's absolutely so strong and so powerful, and I love her character, and I hate her uncle Joss, and his brother is gorgeous, and I've got a real crush on him, and I don't know why. And it's dark, and it's on the moors, and like the Exmoor moors, and it's Cornwall, and it's beautiful. It's set in Cornwall, and it's gorgeous and dark and scary, and it sets off every emotion, and I thoroughly loved it. I'm not going to keep it because, like I said, the edition, but I would like to get a better edition of that. I think it's beautiful. Then I'm not going to show you that one, and the next two I'm going to save. Then another 5 stars all the way. This is As Old as Time. It's a Twisted Tale. It's my first official Twisted Tale Disney one. What if Belle's mother cursed the beast? OMG. You guys know I love the Beauty and the Beast retellings. I'm keeping this. I will probably reread it. It's fantastic. It's dark. It's spooky. It's Beauty and the Beast, but with so much darker elements. And oh my god, there was bits at the end that I was absolutely petrified of. But it's so good. Oh my goodness. This is apparently the 3rd title in the series, and I've got A Whole New World and Once Upon a Dream, which I've got on my shelves. One of them I'm buddy reading with Chloe in April, so I'm excited. But this is like, what if Belle's mother was the one that cursed the beast all those years ago, and you go from the early years when she was cursed and Belle's mother's history to the present day, and you do flip with the 2 timelines, and when you find out where Belle's mother's been all those years, it's quite dark and scary and spooky. And the ending was really good, and I thoroughly loved it. Oh, I didn't think a Beauty and the Beast retelling could be as good as A Curse of Dark and Lonely. But that's sort of more of a take a spin on it. But this is pretty much the tale of Beauty and the Beast, and it's, oh my god, it's amazing. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's brilliant. 5 stars all the way. That's a definite keepy. Then I read a book for a read along. It is Alex Christofi, Dostoevsky in Love. I've now put at least one of the Dostoevsky's books on my Amazon wishlist. I'm going to look again for Crime and Punishment, a better edition of that, because I got rid of my last one because the edition wasn't very good. But I'd like to try reading Crime and Punishment again. I want to read all of Dostoevsky's books, because this is his story, Dostoevsky's story. And the fact that now I've read about him, I now really like him, and I now get why a lot of the Crime and Punishment was dark, and I want to read the brothers I can't say the word. I want to read all his works. I will be looking for them, but I'll look for decent copies. I'm not going to buy just a cheap copy anymore, because this really brings Dostoevsky to life. He has been forgotten. He's an author that, on the classics, because he was a Russian classic, he got ignored, and he's not as popular as some of the other classics of that era. And I think reading this, I understand him so much better, and I want to know more of him. He's an addictive personality. You find out so much about him, and this was, it's actually a book I'm going to really keep. I might lend it to you, Gemma, if you want to borrow it, because I think you'd love it. But I would definitely tell people to go out there and buy it. I got it for tandem read along, and I thoroughly loved it, and would definitely recommend it to everyone. So these are 2 keepies. Now I go to my 2 favourite books of the month. Let's see if you can guess from the books that I chose at the start of the month whether you're going to guess that both of these are joint favourites. But like I said, I couldn't choose between the 5 stars. First one is Tidelands by Philippa Gregory. I got this as a birthday present from Charlie last year. Charlie Heathcote. He got me this for my birthday last year. It's my birthday in March next month. The birthday coming up really soon. I'm going to have another lockdown birthday. So I wanted to try and get as many of my birthday presents read before my birthday, because they've been on my shelf for a year. Considering this is my other Philippa Gregory, this is the first book in this series, and it is brilliant. It's not Tudor based. It's set in 1648. The country is in the grip of a bloody civil war. The king is in exile, and the people have learnt to keep their allegiances secret. In the Tidelands of Sussex, where land and sea join together, the villagers are focused on survival, and those who are different are regarded with suspicion. This is really good. Quite dark, quite mysterious, but I loved it. I loved it more than the Plantagenet series. I thought it was thoroughly brilliant. Gemma from Read a Book Gem read it last month. She loved it. Thoroughly loved it too. If you like historical fiction, if you would like to read from a different era in time, this is brilliant. It's not her standard book. It's a lot darker than the Plantagenet series, but it's one that I loved, and I definitely want to get the next in the series. Then my other favourite of the month, which is another one that some people have liked, some people not, It's the second book in the Noughts and Crosses series. It is Knife Edge. I loved it. I read Noughts and Crosses January last year. I've now read the second book. I've now bought the most up-to-date book as my birthday. No, I got it as a gift for Valentine's Day. I thoroughly loved it. It is, oh my god, the ending's amazing. As a mother, I'm torn. I can't tell you too much about this because it would give away Noughts and Crosses. But Seppi is a cross, one of the privileged people in society where ruling crosses treat pale-skinned Noughts as inferiors, but her baby daughter has a Nought father. Jude is a Nought. He's the baby's uncle. Eaten up by bitterness, he blames Seppi for the terrible losses his family has suffered. Now Jude's life rests on a knife edge. Will Seppi be forced once again to take sides? This is dark. This is tackling motherhood. It's tackling racism. It's tackling prejudices. It's tackling, I would say, postnatal depression on quite a high level. And I thoroughly loved it. I loved the fact that you're not just reading about Seppi and Jude, you're reading about their mothers. And I think that's another take on it, because it's like mothers turning into grandmas and how their attitude is, how loss can affect you. It's an amazing book. Oh, I can't wait to carry on the series. Thoroughly loved it. Definitely tell you to read the whole series. And there's my books for the month so far. Didn't realise it was going to be this long. Dreadfully sorry, guys, if you like. But I wanted to know, what's been your favourite of the book of the month so far? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.